You know, the trouble with having 16 bowls of food in front of you is knowing where to start. So many different bowls of mochi. Mochi is rice that's been pounded and beaten down into a kind of sticky rice cake form. And these bowls have been topped in a variety of flavours, from sesame to shrimp to red bean paste, and natto, which is fermented soybeans, which are absolutely awful.
Don't call it fermented, it's mature.
Well, whatever it is, I'm not going near it. And neither should you if you come to Japan. So anyway, today guys, we're going to one of Japan's most famous jazz bars, which is here in Ichinoseki, about an hour north of Sendai. Today we're off to meet a man the New York Times once called Japan's most tireless jazz advocate, Shoji Sugawara, a man who puts even Natsuki to shame on the cool scale. He runs one of the best known jazz clubs in Japan called the Basie. We're going to go in and find out what makes it so popular. While we're in the neighbourhood, we're also going to be dropping into a theatre performance. I've never seen theatre in Japan in any form until now, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it differs from the West. There was one guy with the most angriest, scariest looking eyes I've ever seen in my life. I thought he was going to come off stage and punch me in the face at one point. But our day starts by sampling Ichinoseki's chewy local delicacy. He can't speak, his mouth's full. Once you take a mouthful of this, it's like you can't talk for the next 20 seconds, so we have to kind of synchronise the time of who's eating. And are you finished?
Yes, now I can speak.
Alright, say
so
something.
Now stop yourself.
Tell us something of value.
Right.
So I eat the sesame mochi.
Let me just explain what it is. Got like all the flavors. Soybean, green soybean paste, ginger, and he just ate it, but sesame and pumpkins, and in a various 16 flavors, and I got only 9, and I feel very inferior. How come is that?
Well, you are. I'm still like halfway through it. I think this might be the most difficult thing to eat in the world.
It's made of rice.
What I will say is it's a good way to explore lots of different flavours.
True.
As a base, you know, it's a good way to explore lots of different flavours. If you can chew it all. I have no idea how I'm going to finish this. All of it. We met Shoji in the late afternoon amidst the dimly lit surroundings of the Basie Jazz Club. He was in a reflective mood as he examined his nostalgic collection of lighters.
必ずしもジャズ好きだっていう人がジャズな人でないかもしれないですよ。ジャズな人って僕とタモリよく言うんですけどね、ジャズな人ってジャズに無縁なところにも存在するんですよ。で楽器も何もやらないってジャズなんか知らないっていう人でも生き方がすごいジャズっぽい人っているもんなんですよ。ですから僕はものすごく知らない中になかなかできるやつがいるんじゃないかなと思って、いわゆるジャズをあんまり口走る人ってね、勉強タイプで詳しいだけでその人になんかジャズ染み込んでないケースがすごく多いの。
As you look around the club, you'll see the same name and the same man over and over. American jazz legend Count Basie, one of the most influential figures in 20th century jazz. At the age of 19, Shoji was battling through tuberculosis and claims that repeatedly listening to a performance of Basie in London helped him to get through the illness. In the 1970s, Shoji met the man himself when he came to perform in Tokyo, and they struck up a friendship, with Basie visiting the club that adorned his name several times. In his later years, when Basie was battling through cancer, Shoji tried to repay his debt to the legend by sending him Chinese herbal medicines. And in many ways, the Basie isn't just a jazz club, it's a shrine to the man that inspired Shoji. Still, with his collection of 10,000 records, he feels like the living, breathing epitome of jazz.
つまりジャズが難しいとかわからないっていう人いますけどね、そんなこと考える必要ないんですよ。わかんなくていいんですよ。例えば風景眺めてて風景分かったって言えないでしょ、あれは。それから女性を眺めてて女性分かりましたって言えないでしょ、永久に。神秘的でいいじゃないですか、分かんないで。
There's something quite powerfully nostalgic about it, as if Shoji is trying to capture and hold on to the past. It felt like being in a giant time capsule or something. There was a piano absolutely covered in cameras and camera lenses, a bar counter packed full of bottles and books and photos. There was a seating area on the other side of the room full of customers, and they were all sat there drinking but sitting in silence. There was this kind of peaceful, meditative quality to it all. They were really there. You could tell they were there to sit, relax, but above all to appreciate and to listen to the music. We're at a public theatre, Taisha Engeki. It's the first time I've been to a theatre in Japan, actually, and it's about to kick off. Don't really know what to expect. Ryotaro's here in his nightingale.
Nightingale. Normally the public theater in Japan is like combined with like onsen, and because I'm staying here, like you actually get changed into this, and then Chris hasn't and it's a really shame on him that he's not really following the Japanese culture at all, not respecting.
What are you on about? Not respecting Japanese culture. I've just eaten a whole plate of edamame, and I've got an Asahi beer. All right. That is Japanese culture, right there.
It's just consuming it, that's all. It's not respecting.
I'm consuming culture, but I'm not respecting it. Taisha Engeki literally means light theatre, and unlike a lot of traditional entertainment in Japan, such as kabuki or geisha, Taisha Engeki is entertainment that doesn't break the bank. It's entertainment for the masses that doesn't take itself too seriously or have a philosophical component. Its aim is to simply make the audience laugh.
あなたの子じゃないのよ。誰の子なんだよ。知りたい。知りたい。その子はね、座長の子よ。嘘。
Yeah, I liked it. It was kind of like a cabaret performance. The facial expressions were impressive and the hand gestures. There was one guy with the most angriest, scariest looking eyes I've ever seen in my life. I thought he was going to come off stage and punch me in the face at one point. And there was a nice variety of performances. There were the couple who were arguing over a baby and whose baby it was. Turns out it wasn't the guy's baby. There was a man dressed as a woman who came out with a cigarette and stubbed it out on someone's face. I quite enjoyed that. And then there was a rather chubby character who burst out of a bamboo tree. That was pretty random. And then the audience, the fans themselves, they were loving it. There was a woman at the front just giving them gifts throughout the performance, bags of things. So clearly, it's a pretty popular thing here. Ichinoseki is 2.5 hours north of Tokyo by bullet train. If you're interested in checking out any of the places we visited on our trip, you can find the details in the description box below. Yeah, stop everything. I've just realised Ryotaro is dressed like Link out of The Legend of Zelda, or some sort of shitty pirate. Can't really work out which one. Ow.
So that's it for you guys, and I will see you in next video. Thanks for watching.